Hello, I find as I do these videos that I'm often suggesting that we look inside ourselves and examine why we do things or why we feel certain things. And of course, this fits very well with Socrates' statement that the unexamined life is not worth living. He used this argument when he was accused of perverting the values of Greek society, and of course that led to him being sentenced to death. And although we don't know exactly, various historians have put together two and two and surmised that probably it was on February the 15th, 399 BC, that he drank hemlock and committed suicide as a result of this verdict against him, which he didn't challenge. I've been thinking about this idea of suggesting that we engage in inner reflection, because though Socrates recommended it, other philosophers have not been quite so enthusiastic. Aristotle, for example, very nearly his contemporary, felt that the important thing was not so much to be thinking about what you're feeling, so to speak, but working out what is a good life and trying to live it. It was about virtue and about action. And he wasn't the only one to pick up this idea. The philosopher Rousseau, whose emphasis is very much on the natural and on being just being free to be who we are. He didn't object to internal reflection and consideration of one's motives and so on, but he thought that what you needed was much more some kind of intuition. Just let your body know what's right, because your nature has made you so. He wanted us to be more relaxed about it and to rely probably at least as much on feelings as on our thinking. And of course Kierkegaard took this idea a little bit further. His idea was, yes, let's think about things internally, let's be in touch with our feelings as well as our mental reflections, but let's have passion. Let's enter life with real engagement and real determination, with what he called the leap of passion, sometimes taking risks in order to find what's really good in life. And I think perhaps the most interesting for me of the responses to Socrates' famous phrase is Jean-Paul Sartre, who basically thought life was pretty absurd and didn't have much meaning. The only meaning that you would find was by doing something and then reflecting on what you've done. So you weren't reflecting on who you are and how you're feeling, but you're reflecting on your ability to change things around you. And one philosopher has said that whereas Socrates suggested that we reflected in order to discover who we are, Sartre encouraged reflection because it helps us to invent who we are. We are nobody except what we do by our actions and what we create with our lives. And I think that's an interesting idea too. And so today I shall go on encouraging us to think about our internal lives, but not just thinking, but also feeling, and not just feeling, but also trusting our intuition, and not just trusting our intuition, but actually engaging with life with passion. Because that way, I think, not only will we become who we are, but we shall be able to create a life around us that is important and significant for us and for others.